is the NB-1 chart aid. We've designed this ourselves to make marking your maps significantly easier, and hopefully you'll end up with a far more accurate result once you're finished. In this video, I'm going to take you around the features of the chart aid and show you how to use them. Starting at the top, we've got a ruler scale. This is for a half mil chart and it's marked in kilometres, so you can effectively use that as a ruler on any standard half mil aviation chart. Then on the left here, top left, we've got an FAI sector stencil. Again, that's designed for half mil charts. We've got a BGA turnpoint sector. This is identical to the FAI sector, but with a half K barrel. Bottom right, we've got a BGA enhanced turnpoint, also known as a showery turnpoint sector. Over on the left, we've got a BGA start zone sector, and then in the bottom left, we've got various cylinder sectors of the most common sizes that we see. And then in the middle, we've got what we call the sector assistant. This has got various markings, so it's just starting around the outside. We've got 0 degrees, 270 degrees, 180 degrees, and 90 degrees. And these will be used to orientate your sectors accurately. I'll show you how to do that in a minute. And then we've got 5 kilometer radius, 10k radius, 15 kilometer, 20 kilometer, all the way up to 25. Again, this is going to help you to draw slightly abnormal sectors. Very useful if you've got an assigned area task. And then in the bottom here, we've got 22.5 degrees, 45 degrees, 67.5 degrees, and 90 degrees. And again, that's for drawing, helping you to draw unusual sector sizes. And then lastly, at the bottom, we've got a 1/4 mil scale. All of the sector stencils that you find on the NB-1 chart aid, they're designed to be used with a half mil aviation chart. And for most accuracy, we recommend using these map marking pens that you can find on our website. They will work with a Sharpie, but the final sizes won't be quite as accurate. We've got a task sheet here. Aviation chart is all folded, ready to go. The first task is to mark the location of each of the turn points. So we've got starting at Pocklington, then we're going down to Curtin and Lindsey, up to Rufford, and then back to Pocklington. The next thing, we use the ruler to draw the task lines. You can also find the Navboys ruler on our website. The next job is to draw the sectors. And now you're about to see the NB-1 map aid completely disappear. But bear with me, it's still here. So I tend to start right at the beginning. We've got the start zone to draw here, which is that 5 kilometer 90 degree sector. Or we've got the BJ start zone stencil here. And use the sector assistance tool to orientate that start zone, like so. So lining up that 0 degree line, this is going to be a 5k radius start sector. I just put in 3 dots, and then I use the BJ start zone stencil. Next up, we've got Curtin and Lindsey. Now for this one, on the task sheet, the observation zone is marked symmetrical, which means that it needs to be orientated with the bisector of the inbound leg and the outbound leg. To do that, we're going to use the sector assistant tool, and we're going to line up that 0 degree line. We're going to approximate that bisector, and this one is going to be a 10 kilometer radius sector. Again, I tend to mark 3 points and then follow up with the BJ enhanced turnpoint stencil. On to the next turnpoint. Here we've got a standard BGA sector. So this is a 45 degree segment, 20 kilometer radius with a half K barrel. You can find that on the chart aid here. First thing to do is use the sector assistant tool to orientate it perfectly. And this one is a 45 degree sector, 20 kilometer radius. So 20 kilometers, 45 degrees is here. Lastly, we've got a 3 kilometer radius finish ring. Looks like that. And we've got a 3 kilometer stencil here. Okay, the chart's marked up. You can see how using the map aid has made it so much easier to accurately orientate these sectors, and it looks identical now to the task sheet, which is good. Next, Okay, here we've got a 2-hour AAT. These are the turn points, and you can see, looking at the sectors on the task sheet, ordinarily these would be really quite difficult to mark, but using the NB-1 chart aid, we're going to find it significantly easier to get them marked nice and accurately. You've already seen me do this on the racing task, so it's the same procedure, so we'll rush through this bit. And now the sectors. We've got a normal BGA start zone at the beginning. You've seen me do that before. So next up, we've got Scunthorpe North. Now this is a large sector. It's a 30-kilometre radius sector, which is actually above what the NB-1 chart aid can do, but we're going to show you how you deal with that. This is a 30k radius at a 22.5 degree angle, but it's orientated at a fixed value of 270 degrees. And for that, we're going to need to line up the 270 degree line with north on the chart. And then we can draw our sector, and that will nicely match up with the task sheet. Right, so I'm lining up that 270 degree line with north. I'm going to draw the biggest sector we can, which is a 25-kilometre radius. I'm just going to put a few markings in there. And then we can either use the ruler scale on the chart aid itself or Navboys Aviation ruler to extend these lines to 30 kilometres. And then the last piece of the puzzle is we need the compass, and we just draw a nice curve. On to the next one, which is Rougheth. This is a 10-kilometre radius, again a 22.5 degree sector, orientated at a fixed value of 90 degrees. So this time we're going to use this one lined up with north. We've got a 10-kilometre radius, so this one here, and it's a 22.5 degree sector. So we're going to be marking here and here. Then just draw the straight lines of the sector, and then we need the compass to draw the curve. Some people like to do all the curves at the very end. It's a little bit quicker that way. On to turnpoint 3, which is Castle Howard. 5-kilometre radius. This one is actually going to be orientated symmetrically, and it's a 45 degree sector. So because this is orientated symmetrically, personally I prefer to turn the map upside down so that we can accurately depict the bisector of the inbound and outbound leg against these reference markings here. And 5 kilometres of 45 degrees. Mark up the straight lines. So just in case that wasn't clear what I did there, because this sector is orientated symmetrically, I've used these reference lines up here to judge the bisector of the inbound and outbound leg. So these reference lines, you're just going to line up roughly with the inbound and outbound leg evenly. That will give you that will allow you to approximate the bisector, and then you can use the sector assistant to mark the position of the sector. So this is a nice easy one. We've got Driffield, which is a 10-kilometre radius circle. So all we do is go straight to our compass. We hold that up against the scale at the top at 10 kilometres. And then we just draw a circle around the turnpoint. We've got a finish ring. This is a 3-kilometre radius finish ring around Pocklington. You can either use the compass, but it's much easier to just use the chart aid. And we've got these cylinders all ready to go in the bottom left here. And there you have it, a nice accurately drawn assigned area task. In the next video we're going to talk about why this is so important and go into detail as to how I do my pre-flight walkthrough before I go flying. Hopefully you found that video helpful. If you did, please like and subscribe, and also check out our Patreon, where we've got a lot of coaching videos from the likes of Andy Davis, G Dell, and many more coming. We've also got our full-length interviews up there with no ads or interruptions. Thanks for watching, see you in the next one.